do some tracing. Again, this one is in a fake leather, and it is this edition by Canterbury Classics. I really like the Canterbury Classics editions. They look really good on a shelf when you put them next to each other. I don't know why they're less famous than the Barnes & Noble ones, because even though I like the Barnes & Noble ones, I kind of preferred these. However, there's only a few books in that series actually, so yeah, this is like the spine as well, and it looks really, really beautiful. Let's see if I open this book. I haven't opened it actually, so maybe there will be the really cool sounds like last time. Oh, but I think this one is printed different. Yeah, there's no cool sounds like last time. If you want to hear those cool sounds, you have to watch the first part. It's the second book, Sherlock Holmes. That one had really good sounds. This one doesn't have great sounds, so I'm really excited to read it. I actually want to read this YA book that was slightly inspired by it as well, called Wrath and Dawn. I love books that have Arabian setting. It's like, I don't want to say it's a guilty pleasure of mine because there's nothing wrong with liking them, but I just really, really like those books. So yeah, also this one has a pretty good font as well, so it will be easy to read. It has 600-700 pages almost. Yeah. I'm really excited to read it. Actually, now that this is deluxe editions, but don't have it. So the next book is a collection of poems by Robert Frost. I love reading poetry, but I'm not reading it as much, and I heard that Robert Frost is pretty good when it comes to poetry, so I don't know that much about it. Yeah, I don't know much about poetry and on culture, it's why, but somebody recommended Robert Frost in a YouTube video, so I was just like, I'll buy it. This edition looks so pretty. It has like a tiny moon on the spine as well, and I'm really excited to read it. Again, this is the Canterbury Classic. I don't know if I've mentioned it. I think I've mentioned this already. It's fine. And again, the back looks really pretty as well. It has gilded pages too. This one has like vintage style. A lot of Canterbury Classics have that vintage style that I really appreciate, while the Barnes and Noble Classics, the leather-bound classics, have like a more modern twist. So it all depends on what you prefer. But yeah, I can hear a train. Let's try to make some sounds. Oh, again, this one doesn't make sounds. That's a bummer. It's fine. Because sometimes the gilded pages make this really cool sound. This one doesn't do that. So again, like the font in this is really big, and I think it will be really comfortable for me to read this. Also, it's not that heavy, so that's great. By the way, I'm planning on doing a wrap-up pretty soon, like an ASMR version, before I'll do those on like my book channel, which I probably will post some book-related videos on my ASMR channel as well. But I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, I couldn't really read that much because I was studying like crazy for the past few months, so now I finally can read more. Okay, the next book that I have here is a book by Haruki Murakami, and this is the 1Q84, the Complete Trilogy. actually never read any of his books, and I'm kind of worried that this might not be a good introduction, but you know, because it's so like heavy and long, but it's fine. I'm excited to read it. I feel like his books one day will become classics. Do you have that like feeling as well when you're reading something and you're like, oh yeah, this definitely will become classic in the future? They already kind of are. I remember when I was taking this state exam. When you graduate high school, you're supposed to read like 20 books, and I think his book, I don't remember which one was in there as well. I think I didn't choose it for some reason, but I remember people who did, they really loved it. So yeah, and you know, his book was with like other classics there as well. I remember that Harry Potter was in there too. So yeah, this will definitely take me a while to get through. Look how big this is. But yeah. So 1Q84. Okay. Next book is a classic actually, and it is Dracula by Bram Stoker. If I'm not mistaken, this is the Penguin Classics cloth-bound edition. Let me see. Let's see if it says here. Penguin Random House UK. Puffin Books. Oh, so this is part of the Puffin Books series, I think. Yeah. Okay, so you can find it in the Puffin collection. So it is cloth-bound. It looks really pretty. I wanted to read Dracula for so long and I never got to it, and I don't know why. So hopefully I'll get to it soon. One thing that I don't like about this edition is that the print can come off really easily. Actually, when it arrived, it was already scratched, like here. It's my biggest pet peeve when books arrive destroyed already. But what can I do? So here it says, for the blood is the life. So yeah, I'm excited to read it. One thing that I don't like about this edition, I feel like I should mention it, is that when you open it, it doesn't stay open. It's like you have to use a lot of force to keep it open. So that's one thing that I'm not that big of a fan. You can see that kind of stays, you know, it doesn't stay open. But it's fine. It's worth it. It's a pretty edition. And that's the only thing that matters, right? I'm kidding. Okay. The last two books are by Brendan Sanderson, which I already talked about him in the previous video. So this is a standalone. It's called Elantris by Brendan Sanderson. And this one I can read you the back because you will not be spoiled. Elantris was a place of glory, the capital of Ireland. It was home to people transformed into magic using demigods by the shout. But then the magic failed. Elantris started to rot, and its inhabitants became powerless wrecks. In the new capital, Kay, close enough to Elantris to remind everyone what they have lost, a princess arrives ready to seal a political alliance with a wedding and unite Teod and Ireland against religious imperialists. But Raoden, her husband-to-be, is dead. Still determined to fight for Teod and Ireland's freedom, Serene clashes with the High priest Rathan. I don't know how to read any of these names. It's fine. But secrets remain in Elantris. The dead and the ruined may yet have a role to play in this new world, because magic still lives. So again, this is a standalone fantasy. I've heard people recommend this as a introduction to Brandon Sanderson. Some people have mentioned that this is his first book, so it's not as amazing as his other books, because he gets better and better and better. But again, he's a great writer, so I think you wouldn't be disappointed if you have read this. Again, I haven't read this yet, but I'm kind of expecting to love it. There's also a map in here as well. Here, which is very helpful when it comes to fantasy books. And there's a map of Elantris, the city, and a map of Sila, which I don't know what that is because I haven't read it yet. But one thing, I already talked about Brandon Sanderson before, but one thing again that I really love is that, I don't think I've mentioned this, is that you think you know where his books are going, and then you realize you don't, and you'll be really surprised, and you probably will not guess the events, which I really like. So, Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. Let's read the recommendations of authors as well. So Orson Scott Card said, the finest fantasy novel to be written in many years. And David Farland says, Brandon Sanderson is the real thing, an exciting storyteller with a unique and a powerful vision. I don't know, I usually don't trust like the recommendations of authors, because sometimes, you know, like really great author would write a great review into like the back of the book, and then I hate the book anyway, so I don't trust these that much. But with Brandon Sanderson, I think you can trust those. Okay, and the last book is actually The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 1, part 2. I've already said in my last video that I only tried buying the books because they had a German title. They were listed under like German title for some reason, so I just wanted to like test the waters if they're actually in English or in German. They're in English, so we're good. So this is the part 2 of the first book. I don't have part 1 because I don't know, because it didn't have a German title. I will definitely get them sooner. Look how pretty the inside is. Hopefully I will not spoil you up for anything, but this is the part of the Stormlight archive. I don't know how many books are there. Maybe 10, I think. Only a few books are out. I think 4 books are out, but it's supposed to be a 10-book series, which like, that's a lot of books. But I will read it. I hopefully will enjoy it. So yeah, that's the last book that I have. That's it really for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be probably doing a part 3 soon, maybe later July or like beginning of August. We'll see, because I do have more books coming in the mail and I have no space to put them. So